today's live. So Coach Helen for YouFit Studio. Monday, this beautiful Monday, September Monday. Now, today's live, right? I'm going over in a little bit more detail. The whole structures that I pretty much use for all these episodes, and also why one of the statement questions, why I choose to use them, and why it's important to use, or can be important to use this kind of approach to anything that you're looking to resolve or make progress on in any part of life. Now, it stands to reason that I'm going to talk about health and fitness, even though actually if you apply this structure, you can actually apply it to pretty much anything in life. To be fair, career, relationship, yes, health and fitness, pretty much anything. Because I made some hefty notes on this, but I'm going to say, what? A lot of notes. Now, I made notes because actually it was almost like I was refreshing for myself as much as anything else. And also, actually, as I was thinking it out, I realised how actually even more how much more thought process there is in it. And the three magical words of what, why, and how are principally some fantastic ways of approaching any, and I can probably use some examples, and Kate, you can throw some at me, some examples, all the guys on Instagram can throw at me any example that you might be looking at in life where this structure actually really works. And I've talked about them a lot over the last few months during lives, but not specifically on its own little episode, right? Its own little episode to this specifically. And I think we all probably do this to, like, I think from working with clients, this is what I think. I think majority of us, unless they're working with a coach, may look at some or one element of these three words. It's not that usual for somebody to look at all three, and yet when you look at all three, that's when they're most effective. So what, why, and how. And by that I mean, if we say most people only look at one individually, they'll usually say things like, I don't know what's going on, or what am I meant to do, as questions, right? Or what's the point of that? Questions to themselves or to external. Or what's happening? Likewise, they may ask questions like, why is this happening to me? Why can't I get past this? Why is it different for other people? Why am I not the same? Those might be isolated, right? They'll ask themselves the same questions. Or you may have people say, oh, how am I meant to get through this? Or how else can I resolve this issue? Which is actually, or at least constructive. Or how is it that other people can do things that I can't, for example. However, if you look at these words in language and how you actually use them together as a grouping, it's a very fascinating and a very in-depth way of being able to resolve any issue you've got. Hey, Joe! I'm on the what, why, how, Joe. What, why, how? And I was saying, before you joined, Joe, well, firstly, I was enjoying my cup of tea that was just hovered into the shot, which was great. It's always good when a hovering tea comes in. It's Monday, hover tea day. Also, how often people ask themselves the questions, and I'm sure, well, all of us don't over lockdown anyway. However, I know some people have asked this more, like, what am I meant to do? What is different about this situation? Or might ask yourselves, why can't I get something sorted? Hey, Layla, why can't I be different to other people? Why other people lose weight and I don't? Or that one came out loads. How is it that people have more time than me? That came out loads. How can I be better? How can I make up lost, like all these questions with the language? So what, why, how? However, as I said, most people will go for one word and ask themselves that question. They won't actually go through all three and really challenge themselves, because they'll naturally lean to one of these, right? As personality types, I think. But as I said, you can work through any challenge there has ever been in the history of challenges based on these questions, right? So again, if it's health, fitness, losing weight, promotion at work, relationship, like significant other or family relationship, all of this, right, will come down to these questions that you can ask yourself and actually work through a situation. So I'm going to go through now individually. So I've done some examples of where somebody might just latch onto one of those words and just rinse it. I was a bit like milking. Milk it. Milk this question, this word away, as in what, or how, or why, Why is the best ones. Whether rather than just milk the one word or the one question. Layla, I bet you love this at work. This is Layla's cup of tea. The lady must do this all day with your work. Not giving away what you do. However, Layla must do this all day. I know I used to. So what, right? So what is the first question that you can really ask yourself? And what is almost a clarification of what is actually happening? So it's defining the challenge itself. So the blockage that's stopping you move forward, what is it? So what is the actual issue that is stopping you move forward? It's the thing that you need to identify. So let's let me just fire out some an interactive. I do love an interactivity. So if anyone wants to give me an example of things that they're going through, if not, if they're things they've come across, what can be? What is it? I don't have a car, so I can't apply for a job. That's the issue. I don't know what is it? I rely too heavily on other people to get things done. What's the issue? I don't have Tupperware boxes to make prep food. What might be another issue? Time. No, I always like to change that one. What's the issue? What's blocking? I don't have time to do something. So you're becoming aware of what the actual challenge is. So you can give it a definition rather than it being something vague. It's actually clarifying what the specific thing is, right? It's not a feeling or emotion necessarily, but what is the actual challenge that you're trying to get through? It's important because he's also acknowledging that there is something there that needs to be dealt with, right? Because so often we'll kind of go around these questions like, why? However, if you are naturally somebody who internally or externally says why a lot, you will not naturally tend to ask yourself or others questions like what. This is what I mean when I say you have 3 different questions and 3 different personality types, generally speaking. I mean, I'm pigeonholing everybody, the whole of the world in this comment right now. Why not? Why not? However, if you have why people go, why is this happening? Why? They don't very often and naturally like to start asking the question of what, because firstly, it's a why is very passive. I want to use the word victim. I'm gonna, because I have. So somebody who's a why is very much this is out of my control. Not seeing the actual obstacle or the what. Staying in the why means they remain powerless. And very much not very accountable, shall we say. So what is acknowledging the issue? So Layla's saying the issue is now that I feel now that I train, I feel I have the right to eat more. Firstly, I love the word feel. So Layla, that means you emotionally are attaching to food more than factual point of view, because fact would outweigh that, right? So what would be in that, Layla, is that you're eating too much. Or there's a reason that you want to eat more other than training. That will be the what. Or the challenge would be that, let's say the what, if you want to get really factual, and I don't know, I'm not, without going into results on live Facebook, which I won't do. However, the what would be, I'm not losing weight, or I'm maintaining the same weight because. The challenge would be I'm not losing weight, or I'm staying the same if I don't want to do that, or whatever your goal is. So what would be, is my behaviours in line with my goal? No, the what is, that is not happening, right? So once you've got into what, right, as I said, which might not be natural if you are more of a why. I don't want to do this. I always do that when as a why person. Why? Because I shake fist at the sky. Why is this happening? So what? Let's just move on to what. So what actually is the challenge you need to deal with? Now we are going to go into the why, right? Now, as much as this might seem like why is not very productive, it still will tell you something, right? So it will tell you something like actually the source of your what, okay? So the why will give you the source of your what or your challenge. Okay, so it will tell you. So if you're asking yourselves why is this, or you're saying why is this happening, you may start to actually see some reoccurring scenarios. So what are the common triggers for you to start seeing your challenge? So why are you coming across your challenge on a repeated amount of times? Not why is this happening to me as a powerless way, but actually why am I seeing this happen to myself, and why am I seeing myself come across the same challenge all the time that's stopping me moving forward? It recognizes the source, because to recognize the source is to be able to see a solution. Whereas, again, let's just say you're somebody who's very action based or just likes to get facts. Again, some people it won't be their natural personality type to be this reflective, right? Because it is quite reflective. The whys are a little bit more emotional, right? So later might be something you might delve into naturally, but the whys are very emotive usually, and if you're not somebody who naturally likes to be in that state, as I said, to reflect on what's happening so often might again be uncomfortable if it's not your natural stance. So far we've got the what, so what's the challenge, we've got the why, so why is this recurring, this challenge, because we need to understand the source, because the next step is to get solution based, and that is to get into the hows. Oh, I love how naturally, if you ask yourself any question that starts with how, like how am I going to resolve this challenge, you are problem solving. You are naturally going into and guiding yourself into a solution based scenario, rather than what is it, I don't have time, so unfortunate, why don't I have time, end of conversation with yourself or with your coach. It's like, well, that doesn't actually move anything forward. Going through this cycle and going into the hows is actually saying, right, now I'm taking control of it to some degree. So I've sorted out, I say what it is, I understand, I've defined it, I know what the challenge is. Now I understand where it's coming from, because I've asked myself why is this becoming a challenge, and now I'm going to go into how. So how am I going to change this as a situation? You created the source, so this is the solution. So asking yourself automatically, as I said, become solution based. Layla's laughing like, Layla, you should do this exercise. Whatever this is, Layla, I'm not going to do it on live with you. However, I would challenge you, Layla. I challenge you to a duel. No, I don't. I need a glove. I need a glove to virtually slap you for that. Isn't that how you do it? Don't take me down, Layla. So with your issue, Layla, I would challenge you to ask yourself the questions. So what is it? So what is the actual challenge that you're trying to get past? Why is it reoccurring? And how are you going to do it? Because actually, as I said, you're acknowledging there's a problem, right? Or something, or a challenge. Don't like the P word. There's something that needs to be overcome for you to move forwards. Let's call it that. Now we know that there's a source reason for it, or a set of triggers that will automatically, or have more often than not, raise this as a challenge. And then how are you going to deal with it moving forwards? Layla, why don't you do that as an exercise for me, or for Sam, or for me? For me, do it for me, Layla. Do it for me, and you can send it to me, Layla. I challenge you. I challenge you virtually on a live Facebook /podcast. Slash is important. So let's we can use it as a similar example. So somebody might say, let's use it. What's the challenge? I don't have time to train, Helen. I don't have time to train. That's interesting. So what is the why, or what is the reason why there is no ability to? So your the challenge would be client feels, or we feel we have no time to train in our lives, or there's no solution to training or creating time. So why is that happening, right? Because other things are taking more priority, because that's a why. Because I'm not held accountable to doing it, that's a why. So accountable, routine, why? I don't have a routine in place because things are more important. Why? Because I have to look after my business now, so training is not as important. There you go, there's 4 whys off the bat. So then how am I going to overcome those issues? Okay, if I want to gain a solution and get past the challenge that I'm not training, well, how? I'm going to actually realistically look at my diary and see if that's reality. How? I'm going to find a way to make myself accountable, have my coach keep me accountable to training. How? I'm going to actually see and actually be honest with myself if business is actually as a priority, or do I need to find a balance between that and training? It goes on, right? So once you know your whys, you can start to find solutions to all of it, right? As an example. And as I said, this applies to anything you've got in life. I call it a strategy. because I like the word. A strategy is a series of steps, a bit like a recipe, to give a solution to something. And this would be a strategy to find a resolution to something that's stopping you move forward, whatever it might be in life. It works. It's a saying. It's the reason behind. I've said this on a couple of my episodes. It's how you can approach most things, because you're telling yourself a story to some degree. You're also giving it some fact. So you're working on your emotional side, your factual side, and your solution-based side. And that's why all of these three might not be natural to any of you. You might all naturally lean towards one or separately. And that's why it's important to actually take yourself out of your comfort zone. Go for all three and then actually see what you come out with, because it's, generally speaking, a very interesting outcome. Layla, looking forward to that. I've got nothing else planned tonight, Layla, so yeah, I'll be tired waiting for that, going refresh. Strike while the iron's hot, Layla. She's probably run off the live already, going, no, I refuse to do it. Oh, she's still there. Good, Layla. Stay with us. Layla, you're going to do it for me. Now, I'll have to get over to the boot camp on some ridiculous o'clock in the morning and find you. How am I going to find a solution? I'm going to hunt you down. Right, recap. Yeah, let's recap. So, I've talked about this structure. It is a strategy. I'm going to repeat that's a word. It is a strategy because it's a set of steps that helps you come to a solution or an outcome. And this particular one, so what, why, how, is a really effective way of getting past anything you encounter on your health and fitness journey, as well as most things in life, whether you like it or not. Sometimes you've got to step out of your natural approach to things and start asking yourself different questions in different words and different language, which we all know is important. So what I'm doing is asking you to change your language in certain situations to come out of your natural trend to get to what you want to get to, right? This is the thing. If you've not done this before and something's not working, then it's not going to harm anything, right? To give it a go. So I said, what is the first step? Identifying what it is. So the actual source or the challenge or the actual thing that's stopping you move forward, the actual blockage that right in this moment in time is stopping you to have whatever it is you want, whether it is to lose weight, gain whatever, from a physical sense, if it's to get the job that you really want, if it's to, I don't know, get the house you want, or the relationship you want, or whatever it is. The what is actually saying, right, I'm going to sit down and really, really look at what the actual challenge is I need to get past for me to move forward in life or whatever I want. Then we're going to go into the why. So we're looking for the source. So why is this happening, right? Why am I finding this a challenge? What are the list of things that either I tell myself or are a reality as to this is happening and happening on a reoccurring basis? Because I need to understand emotionally and maybe even from a physical environmental sense why this is why see my own language, why this is occurring, so that we can move on to the hows. So if I list out all the whys like I did, so these are my whys, now I've got to come up with some hows. So how can I actually overcome these? Because all of these whys are the reason why this is happening, so that the actual sources of the issue, and now I need to move on to how to blast them into the park and continue on my journey of whatever I want. So I invite you all to give it a go. If you haven't already done it with a coach, I absolutely invite you to do it, because it is, if there's anything you've got that you're working on at the moment, personal or otherwise, then this is a really great way of really, honest to God, just starting to really reflect, understand and move forward. Job done. So tomorrow, I believe it's shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm going to go over that one again because I loved that the first time. So we're going to come back to shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. People are looking backwards instead of forwards right now. I can tell you for that for sure. Right, in the meantime, have a lovely evening, and I will catch you again tomorrow at 5, or later I'll catch you tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock at the park. No. Right, guys, have a great evening and see you soon.